Good afternoon, Suidlanders. How are you? We hope that you're well. This is the late afternoon. I've attempted to make this video twice already and had some hiccups. So I've left it quite late in the end. The late afternoon of Friday, the 6th of January, 2023. And it's the first week in review video that we're doing for a few weeks. We had a bit of a problem. I had a bit of a problem. My laptop computer's hard drive, huge hard drive, a terabyte hard drive, became full, and got a hold of Piero, the boffin, and he was away, and I had to wait for him to come back, and then he showed me what to do, and I had to work my way through 1.8 terabytes of files, deleting some, storing others elsewhere to make space to work again. And so I only started working on my computer on, I believe, Tuesday. Would it have been the 3rd of this month of January. So let's dive right into it. Suidlanders week in review, the first of 2023 and the first for a few weeks. And just by the way, I'm going to go back a couple of weeks. We're going to skip over some stuff like Marcel's Poort. I'll just end up saying things that I'll regret. I'll go berserk if I cover that subject. And it's not the answer right now. So we're going to skip over some stuff, but we're also going to cover some stuff from the week, 2 weeks prior to this one. And here I have a fantastic one from the 22nd of December. 22nd, which interestingly, I think that was a Thursday. That was the day that my computer crashed, as it were, or stopped working because it had no space left whatsoever. Just going to touch on this briefly. I'm going to leave the rest to you. Public Works official, this is reported in the Sunday Times, online, 22nd of December. Public Works official took 581 days leave to complete Sangoma training. Sorry. The byline reads, Department says the employee did not submit medical evidence, but court considers a registered traditional healer's letter sufficient. So in other words, if you go to remember, it's 581 working days. It's probably 2 years not attending your place at work. But apparently, if you get a doctor's note saying that you were doing Sangoma training, it's okay. The Department of Public Works has been ordered by the court to re-employ a staff member who was fired for taking 581 days of unauthorized leave. If you are a liberal South African who has stumbled upon this video by accident, I have a special note just for you. Just to whisper in your ear. You're mentally retarded if you think that a country that is in this state can be fixed. You've got rocks in your head. 2 days later, we had a report from Eskom that they would suffer a 20 billion rand loss this year, and the auditors have found evidence of fraud with tender documents, so documents pertaining to tenders, giving so-and-so a contract for $100 trillion of diesel, and so-and-so's sister or his wife a contract for 1 billion tons of coal, with tender documents burned. to ashes. This is how we are rolling in the new South Africa, baby. I've got another classic here. Deloitte. The old Deloitte and Touche. Deloitte, auditors, one of the world's 4 big accounting companies, has suggested, I'm trying to think of a better word than suggested, but has put it out there that Eskom possibly should no longer be treated as a going concern. Don't worry, the best is yet to come. This is my favorite. Second favorite, maybe. This is all Eskom stuff, I'm sorry to say it, but there you go. We learned on the 25th or the 26th of December that the first 3 months of 2023 will be difficult as far as Eskom and electricity are concerned. And I find it quite funny in a tragic way, but I just can't help myself, that in fact that's almost, look, let me put it to you this way. Andre de Ruyter, I'm not a great fan of his, but he's clearly a competent manager, is resigning. His resignation becomes effective the 1st of April, so the 31st of March is his last day. It is also the last day of the Chief Operating Officer, Jan Oberholzer. The first 3 months of 2023 are not the major threat at all. The first 3 months of 2023 are going to be a delight compared to the day after those 2 men leave. Because when it comes to operations, Andre de Ruyter is not the apex of the hierarchy. It's Jan Oberholzer. He is the guy. He is the guy who has kept the lights on over the past whatever number of years, to the extent that he was able to do so, in spite of rocks in the coal and so on and so forth. You know all of the stories. Illegal connections, you name it. Here in Van der Kloof, the African National Congress Town Council stealing 100 million rands worth. And this village, if you've ever been here, it's tiny, it's miniature. It has something like 250 houses, of which 150, if I remember the numbers, are permanently occupied. Something like that. Or 150 houses with 250 residents. That's obviously a very different thing, so I'm messing it up a little bit. But the fact remains that it's tiny. They stole every last cent for years in this tiny door of the electricity payments, because we are meant to make our payments via the municipality, through the municipality. Jan Oberholzer and Andre de Ruyter are going to leave Eskom on the same day. The next day, we will enter Pik Donker Nag. Right. What next? I've got a big list here of events of the past weeks. Oh, one thing that I'd like to bring to your attention is the huge number of doctors in very recent weeks. You know, it's been a sine wave, or what the Americans call a hockey stick graph, where the increase in the number of doctors speaking out about the vaccinations was initially very, very little. It was a teeny tiny handful of doctors, some of them the finest doctors in the world. If you think of Robert Malone, Peter McCulloch, Mike Eden, Dr. Former head of the US Surgeons and Doctors Association, the lady with the blonde bob. Oh dear me. But they were few in number. And I can tell you I've watched this very closely for 3 years solid. And just in the past few weeks, the number has increased exponentially. The number of doctors speaking out boldly about their concerns pertaining to the vaccine. We discovered that Elon Musk's the chip that he wants to implant in people's brains was completed. All the work completed by the end of December. We also learned from Elon Musk that the first human implant will occur within the first quarter of 2023. So by the end of March, there will be somebody in the world who is certifiably, as it were, who is definitively a humanoid, a cyborg. I don't know what is the right word, but we will see for the first time in the history of mankind something that we've been warned about in fantasy movies and sci-fi movies for 40 years or longer. It's here now. We also discovered right at the end of December that a startup company called Make Sunsets is already releasing particles into the atmosphere in an attempt to tweak the climate. And its business model, as I understood the article, is they are trading carbon credits to make money out of what they're doing. We live in interesting times, folks. All right, what's next on my long list? Right at the end of December, Cape Talk revealed a survey, a research, that exposed South Africa as one of the top 5 most dangerous countries in the world to visit. It's ominous, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we've done coverage of Dmitry Medvedev's New Year's forecasts. We've got 2 videos about that. Go and have a look at them. That I forgot to remove from our list for today's video. France is issuing vouchers for firewood. The situation is desperate. KFC revealed on the 28th, it was reported on the 29th, as I have it, that 70 KFC outlets in Pretoria and KwaZulu-Natal were closed because load shedding had disrupted their supplies of chicken. And that is a very, very big thing, ladies and gentlemen. It was an important and ominous sign of the real and actual effect upon the economy of the Eskom blackouts. Lo and behold, the very next day, Nando's and Steers revealed that they too had to limit products, tell people, oh, we can't sell you wings or drumsticks today, and close shops and so on, for the very same reason. The Department of Mineral and Energy Affairs Eskom was just the thing over the past 3 weeks, wasn't it? Rejects Eskom's bid for a diesel license. And this is the note that I wrote. For those of you who don't understand what this means, Eskom shall have to continue to buy tens of billions of litres of dieseline per year from the ANC cadre-dominated fuel wholesale syndicates. The Department of Minerals and Energy has blatantly protected the interests of the middlemen over those of Eskom and the country by not granting a perfectly reasonable request made by a large and serious entity. Whatever else you may think of Eskom, it's not a corner shop. There was no good reason in the eyes of ordinary people and observers and commentators why Eskom shouldn't be able to buy fuel directly. I'll give you a kind of a for instance. I know a man quite well who imports gas into South Africa. He imports his own gas. He imports gas, he sells it, he makes money. He's the middleman. But what makes him bigger or stronger, well, you know what I mean, than Eskom? Why is Eskom inadequate to the purpose of legitimately sourcing diesel from suppliers? Why does Eskom have to go through kind of quasi-retailers? Can you just imagine how much money changed hands to ensure that decision? We should be weeping in frustration, my friends. I have to mention to you, I mean, we have gone mad. We, as in the Westerners of the world. Her Majesty's Prison, Northumberland, was reported by the Daily Mail, famous Daily Mail newspaper of the UK, as being slammed. This was on the 29th of December. Slammed by inspectors for not providing makeup and women's clothing to its transgender inmates. Elon Musk again revealed that Tesla's RNA vaccine printer for CureVac is going to be an important product for the world. It is going to roll out custom mRNA vaccinations in every community. You still like him? Because he bought Twitter and he let Donald Trump come back? No, ladies and gentlemen. No. Some of these are less worth mentioning to you. I get these bright ideas of what I should cover. And when the time comes, they don't seem quite so bright. So we're going to skip over a lot of that. There we go. Oh, gee, we have to mention this. Did you see that turkey, Fikile Mbalula, the Minister of Transport, posing for a portrait photograph with his wife? She wearing dark sunglasses for a portrait photograph. It's like a parody, really. And he wearing a suit with 4 railway tracks on it. Railway tracks coming down like this across the jacket, and then another 2 railway tracks running the lengths of his trousers. It can't be fixed, my friends. I promise you, it can't be fixed. He has overseen not the entirety of the demise of Transnet, South African Railways, PRASA, Metro Rail, who knows what they call what this week. He is in the African tradition, in the praise tradition of Africa, the rampaging buffalo, the trampling rhinoceros, the untamable galloping wildebeest, the migrating springbok, the slinking leopard, master of 1,000 routes and 10,000 pathways through the darkness and between the mountains. But actually, he's just a hopeless caricature of a competent bureaucrat or head of bureaucrats. Did you see the seal? The seal biting the people at the beach at Camps Bay. Oh, too good for words. Absolutely wonderful. I especially liked it when he bit the woman. And I'll tell you why. Because with the kid, it's well and good. What does a kid know? And the seal came rapidly for him. Out of the blue, the seal had been gambling in the shore break a few meters off to one side, doing nobody any harm. And then suddenly turned on the kid, and of course he had to go at the adults too. But the woman was clever. She didn't respond to the immediate panic, to the urgency of the moment. She knew better. It looked to me as if she got some good bites. And not to be cruel, but ladies don't like scars, And that kind of dumbness just does it for me. If you've never seen the website, the Darwin Awards, please visit it. It is dedicated to celebrating people who kill themselves by dint of their own stupidity. In other words, the idea of the Darwin Awards is we should be grateful when the greatest imbeciles remove themselves from our gene pool. This is the best for all of us. And, well, she didn't remove herself from the gene pool, and I'm glad she didn't. I don't wish evil on her, but I think she deserved those bites. Drama in the sea. Sea is a dangerous place. I was a lifeguard for many years. Sea is a dangerous place, and you've always got that scientist, that leading thinker that knows better. No, she's got scars that won't heal with all of the vitamin E oil in the world. Won't take those scars away for decades. Oh, what a classic. Panyaza Lesufi, you Gautengers will know the story, said that, there was this thing of the e-tolls are going to be, it will no longer, be implemented. And of course there was a huge uproar from all of those people who'd been paying diligently up to the last minute. So he said, well, we're going to find money to pay you guys back. I won't be holding my breath. Gold has surged to a 6-month high, and analysts expect records in 2023. Let me tell you that is being reported across the length and the breadth of the internet. I beg your pardon again. Oh, dear me. A farmer by the name of Philip Gill was murdered in Ashburton. I think they pronounce it Ashburton, but Ashburton in Natal. A devout Christian, a wonderful husband and dad, and a new granddad. All because 2 barbarians wanted a phone, money, and a TV. In the middle of a hot summer's day, they walk in, shoot a man, hold a gun to his wife's head, and leave with a few odds and ends. Hey, may his soul rest in peace, and may his family be consoled after him. Right, we're just about at the end. Snow this weekend in the Drakensberg, huh? Gee, isn't that amazing? Global warming. Hell of a thing. I feel as if I've left something out. Oh, here we go. This is a very, very big thing. We need 20 months of food to survive what's coming. That is the message that was issued yesterday by the president of Serbia. Serbia is a Slavic country. That's to say, it is among the Slav nations. Russia, Poland to some extent, and other, Romania, Bulgaria, Hungary. Also, Hungary, not entirely a Slavic nation, but the Slavic peoples, part of the old Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia, as a matter of interest to you, meant South Slavia. And Yugoslavia was made up of 5 different Slavic nations. The Croats, Serbs, Slovenes, Montenegrins, and who am I forgetting? Doesn't matter. So it's very interesting that we're getting the Slavic perspective. A guy from the Slavic side of the fence. Serbia is a country that is closely allied to Russia because Russia was its only ally during the Yugoslav breakup between 1991 and 1999. Russia was the only one who stood by Serbia. You don't have to like Serbia. I don't. I was always on the Croat side. But the fact remains. They're saying what's coming, we need 20 months of food stored up now. So for whatever that's worth to you, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Miller's sermons twice daily on Radio Grootrevier that have been giving us such unbelievable insights. I couldn't get over it. I don't have it here, otherwise I would show it to you. I put it back on the shelf. I went and got a number of reference books to validate what Mr. Miller was teaching us. It's not that I didn't believe him or didn't trust him. It's that I needed to see for myself, can this be true? Can this be true? And lo and behold, in these very learned books about the Old Testaments and the prophets and what have you, verify every word of who these nations are, what they're doing and why they're doing it. This is revealed in prophecy. It's magnificent. We have such an advantage over everybody else. It's such a privilege to be the recipients of that word. It certainly seems as if this Russia-Ukraine conflict may be the big one, or at least the precursor to the real thing, or at least the harbinger, the forerunner of the real deal. But we are talking one way or the other about the big one. Lo and behold, it wasn't 15 minutes later, and Poland announced that it was mobilizing 200,000 troops for the days, weeks, months, and years that lie ahead of the world as far as southwestern Russia, Ukraine, and surrounds are concerned. Anyway, guys, on that rather ominous and sinister note, I wish you a wonderful weekend. May God be with you. May He bless you and keep you, and look after you and yours in the time that lies ahead of us. Thank you very much for watching this video. Like, share, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye.